Hey everyone, it's late spring. It's actually early mid-March, so what that means is there's a lot of garden prep, including pruning, to begin. So this is our blueberry bush. We've had her for about 3 years or so. She's actually not really ours, because ideally she wouldn't still be in this pot. We would have put her in the ground, but because we rent, we just can't be digging up the yard wherever we want and planting all these blueberry bushes. So for right now, we just do the best we can with her in the pot. However, when it comes to pruning a blueberry bush, the idea is for the long-term yield. You want to prune it just right, meaning, cut back some of these shoots so that way as years come, the plant gets healthier and healthier and produces more and larger blueberries and fruit, which is always what you want. Why would we want to cut away some of the shoots or some of the buds that we can already see developing, early spring, late winter right now? So again, the reason for pruning is even though we're cutting back some of those buds that could produce fruit, we don't want a lot of little fruit. We want good, big, juicy berries in the long run. So for only being about a 2 or 3 year old bush, you can see that it's a smaller bush, which is normal. However, in the earlier stages of a blueberry bush, that's when you want to start getting into the routine of pruning. So the first couple of years, you might not prune too much, you might not really prune at all, but it's really the start of the 3rd and 4th year that you want to start pruning your blueberry bush so that way you can control how it grows and its health in the long run. So again, because it's a younger blueberry bush, I don't have too much pruning to do on her, but I thought it would be a good idea to get started. You always want to get started late winter, early spring, right around that time before it starts to come back to life. You'll start to notice a few buds, and so I'll actually bring you in closer so you can see where I'm pruning and why. Okay, so here she is up close. You can see some of these older branches. They kind of have some bark on them. They're lighter. And then the new growth are actually these lighter colored shoots. And there's a good size one right around here. This one. So we definitely want to keep this one. So these shoots, the newer growth, are actually grown last summer. And the berries that were produced last summer came off of these old ones. So we definitely want to encourage new and healthy growth. So that's why we prune. So all you need to prune is a nice pair of clean, sharp shears. You want them to be clean and sharp because you don't want to potentially expose any bacteria or any disease to the newly cut shoots. And the first rule of thumb when cutting or pruning your blueberry bush, or I guess maybe really any shrub, is you want to look for any low-lying branches that again could potentially be exposed to any root rot or any diseases. Now again, I know what you're thinking. You see some nice green branches. You might even see a few little buds right on the end. I don't know if you'll be able to see them. Yeah, right there. See them kind of sticking out a little bit? So that indicates that it could potentially produce some flower and some fruit. However, you just want to get rid of this branch because again, it's low lying, it's right in the dirt. You don't want to potentially put the whole bush at risk just for a few potential berries at the end. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to bring in my shears and I'm going to cut this one back as far to the ground, right to the stump. And we remove that one. Next step is to remove any criss-crossing or potentially damaged branches. And I see one right here. You can see where it split. And well, that's no good. And it's a criss-crossing branch, so meaning it's crossing all of these other branches, rubbing up on them, so that is no good. So again, you can see some buds on this. Let's see, maybe, aha, there's some right there. You can see some buds right here. But again, you don't want to jeopardize your whole bush just for a few potential berries. And again, even though we're cutting back, we want to make sure that it's quality, not quantity of the berries. So it's okay, again, to cut this back. So I'm just going to cut it right back. Right. There we go. Did I get it? There we go. So I'm just going to remove that whole branch. So there's another crisscrossing branch over here. Just going to prune it back to its original branch. And I'm going to prune this one down here. So let's say we cut back all of the crisscrossing branches and all of the damaged branches and the low-lying branches. The last step would be to prune about 1/3 or about 1 in every 3 of your main branches. And you always want to do the older ones, like this branch. You can clearly see this branch is older and this is a newer shoot. So again, we want to remove older branches to stimulate new growth. So this branch, I think I'm actually gonna go with this branch. This is where some of the old fruit came off of last year. So I think this is a good branch to do. Now again, because this is a younger plant, I won't be pruning too much, but I think 1 will be enough. So to prune these bigger branches, you want to go right down to the ground. I'm going to cut it. Try to make it a nice clean cut. And then I will remove this branch so there's more room for new growth and new berries. So I think to finish up, I'm just going to trim a lot of these little top branches that again last year produced some berries. I'm just going to trim it back just a little more, but that's generally the rule of blueberry pruning. So zooming in on some of these newer shoots that grew last year, you can really see these little buds right on the side of the new shoots. So that's where the flowers or little branches will come up to produce the flowers, and that's where our berries will come from. So overall, it looks pretty good. It looks a lot neater, not as crazy. So again, hopefully in a few months, we'll be able to see how I did. But until then, happy gardening and good luck.